Hi, this is Chandrima here, and we'll be discussing about the second largest economy in this world, China, monetary policy of the same, and the screen you're seeing is nothing but the People Bank of China's headquarters, which is located into the Beijing. And here you can see it's when it was founded. It was founded in 1983 and established there until now. It previously used to play a dual role of Central Bank of China and Commercial Bank of China, but now it is officially as a Central Bank of China. It's the Commercial Bank of China is now shifted into four newly state-owned banks, which while the PBC is now the China Central Bank. What is the China bank's role now? The China's bank's role is for implementing the monetary policy, regulating the financial institutions, and maintaining the financial stability, managing the China's foreign exchange. So, if you see in the graph here, the graph is from 2015 to 2015 to 2015 to 2022. This is regarding the government expenditure, net exports, household consumptions, GDP, and the investments. If you see here, it is 7% during the 2015, and it moved up and down and fluctuations till the 2020. If you see, it was the lowest in the 2020 during the COVID. It again started to find its grip to 8.1%, which was the highest from 7.0% to now. And then again, there is a decline during the quarter one to quarter three during the 2022. We'll understand why there is a quarter two to quarter one to quarter three decline as of now. What is the reason that slowly the second largest China's world economy, who had the tug of war with the US, is now declining? Okay. PPC will understand the role is responsible is issuing the and regulating China's currency, renminbi. Renminbi is also known as China's people's money. In Chinese, it's people's money. You can see here in the yellow graph. This is how the Chinese money yuan is mentioned in this graph. Okay. Okay, so people banks of money, monetary policy has typically what are the goals of it? Remains focused on the pricing and stability and promoting the sustainable economic growth from medium term to long term, while maintaining the stability of RMB. You also yuan is the monetary policy important consideration. It is not primary goal of monetary policy. PBC uses the ranges of instruments and tools such as interest rates, exchange policies, OMOs for the economic growth. Who is the people banks reserve ratios? Who is the governor of China? China's governor would be who is the governor of China? So China's governor is we'll see in the next page. Let's go to the next page. Next page. Okay. People's Bank of China. China's governor is governor of China would be Yi Jiang, and the finance minister of China is Liu Kun. Tools of monetary policy. Tools of monetary policy are of four types, which is used by the People's Banks of China, which is Reserve Bank ratio, interest rates, and OMO and exchange rates. So we'll understand how are they using the reserve requirement ratio. But the Reserve Bank of ratio as or China's during after COVID times, you will see that there is a hit into the market. Many of the neighbor countries of Asia is now looking into coming into the picture for productions. China was known as the world factory of production. Now slowly the Nike, Adidas, Apple is moving to switching to the Asian neighbor countries such as Vietnam, Indonesia. Following that, China is facing challenges since October 2021 due to the declining of the retail sales as well as the weak business and consumer confidence. China's central bank, People's Bank of China, has right now announced a second cut of reserve requirement ratio. This cut will reduce the amount of cash that bank must hold in the reserves for 0.25. What would happen if bank has not to hold so much cash? What the bank would finally go for more creditability, increase the credits into the market. The people will start buying the credits and start infusing into the trades, and hence the economy would have more multiple amount of injection into the market. So which is this is what what is expected by the Chinese by increasing the reducing the cut into the cash that banks must hold. So right now they are trying to inject 500 billion yuan, the one which I'm mentioning right now, how that would be happening. We'll start with interest rates. So, interest rates, government bond yields, and market rates have declined on continuing monetary policy. So, if you see from 2020, it has still and slowly it is still declining. There is no such way out. If you see, government bond was still increasing, but the interbank repo rate has been declining till then, and it has still not dipped down to 2020, but 2022 M12 it's still dipping down. March 2022, the monthly weighted average interest rates of interbank lending was 2.07%, and the monthly weighted average interest rates of like the repos posted 2.08, 5 pieces of higher and 1 basis point lower than those of the December 2021 respectively. OMO, open market operations. Open market operations was conducted during the Q1 2022 to manage the liquidity into the financial system. Specifically, PBC conducted 14 days reverse ratio to release the cross festival liquidity and dual reserve repos to keep the liquidity adequate at a reasonable level and to stabilize the market expectations. Also guided the market rates to stably move around and lowered the open market operations and medium term lending facilities, which were lowered by 10 points basis of January 17 to promote a decline in overall financing cost and uplift the market confidence. Exchange rate management. Management, as you see, has been declining now due to the shift of the teams into the other companies and other neighbor countries. So this is something which is a problem for China for the decline, and these are the few of the challenges which is being faced by him once the decline is there. So let's go to, so if you see the foreign exchange rate required was reserve ratio was lowered for financial institutions, and their foreign exchange allocations capabilities were enhanced for for, for promoting financial stability. They would require to do so. The BBC lowered the foreign exchange reserve ratio by 1% from 9% to 8% effective to 1522, which realized around 10 billion of foreign exchange liquidity. So this is how they are trying to infuse and increase the market foreign exchange rate, but still you can see the lower it can happen. So the purpose of this policy change is to enhance the foreign exchange allocation capabilities of financial institutions, which will enable them to better support the economic growth and development. By lowering the exchange rate required reserve ratio, financial institutions will have more funds available to allocate the various sectors, which could help them to stimulate into the growth of the economy. Okay. So when we see that when the Lego company and the Vietnam, so Apple making AirPods and iPhone parts In Vietnam is making the earphone and airpod parts of for Apple. In 2021, the foreign direct proposals into the that rose 9%. Okay, and hereby there is a decline into the China. So there is a gradual shift away from China from many countries. Resource rich Indonesia has also been benefited from booming prices of economies such as palm oil and others. So since 2014, country has made it easier for companies to buy. So this is something which is a gradual shift from China to any other Asian countries, which is a big challenge right now, which is faced by China. Interest rate control. Interest rate control. Now, how can we infuse more, and how China requires to infuse? What is the measures it has taken? So the conversion of two monetary policies that directly support the real economy to support the growth of MSPs is progressing steadily. First, is the support strategy of unsecured MSPs was implemented into administration financing that support rural development and MSPs beginning to 2022. RMB 400 billion were lending quota with the lending quotas for uh, for MSPs locally incorporated were encouraged to make these loans. Now with the cut with the cut into the reserve ratios, they are trying to influence and motivate the banks to infuse more into inject more money into the market, more credit will increase into the market. From beginning 2022 until end of 2023, PBC will provide quarterly funding in the amount of 1% to incremental balance or increasing MSP's loan infused by locally established banks. Okay, so now we'll understand the highlights before we end this right now. China's highlights for China's economy. So China is right now helping the rural development and central banks on lending the MSPs first of all. Secondly, it is also helping and to crucially to support the crucial areas and vulnerable areas locations of national economy. PBC is also continuing to use the central bank loans as targeted liquidity and a positive incentive. Okay, central bank lending and MSPs were used to guide locally formed financial institution for credit availability. Basically, it is trying to boost more credibility to increase and fuse more MSPs into the market and to alleviate the poverty which happened during the COVID-19. Okay. GDP saw in quarter 1, GDP saw year-on-year growth of 4.8%. Chinese was off to an overall stable start. Agriculture production, we know that China has a highest right now a good export of agriculture production, but now it has also declined till during after the COVID times. So agriculture was stable in preparation for spring plugging, sowing proceeded in orderly manner. Industrial productions grew rapidly. The momentum of innovation development continued and upgrading. Overall, the consumer prices are stable right now due to the continuous decline of domestic pork prices. CPI growth, CPI index is nothing but the consumer prices index remained at a relatively low level and a cumulative year on year 1.1 percentage. Recently, in COVID-19 and the crisis of Ukraine have led to an increase in risks and challenges. Development environment of Chinese economy is becoming more complex and shiver with increasing uncertainties from an external perspective. First, international geopolitical tension have not only disrupted the global food and energy supplies, resulting into the large fluctuations in commodity prices, trade, during the process of globalization. So we see not the Ukraine and Russia war has not only affected India, it has affected China and globally as well. Okay. However, it should be noted that there are many strategic advantages to China's development at present. Chinese is enormous in size with large room for policy and maneuvering. It also has super large market and fundamental for long term steady growth remain unchanged. So what are the things which has to be kept in mind? PPC will remain stable growth with money and credit free. Okay, PPC has to take care or connect on the understand their monetary policies and market oriented and exchange rate reforms to smooth the monetary policies transmissions. PPC also have to will improve the financial risk preventions, early warnings and accountabilities. PPC also have to take care of the climate conditions and climate actions, which is right now foreseen by all the other countries and rest of the worlds. Okay. Recently, COVID-19 and crisis have led the increase in this rise. Okay. So World Bank and IMF have lowered the global economic growth from 2022 to 0.9 and 0.8%. It's all because of the war which is going on. But we still have to focus on more that let's see how the China's economic performance remains within a reasonable range. Thank you everyone for giving your time.